Hi. So before I get into the topic of this video, I wanted to discuss. Um, I want to give you some information about what's going on right now. So yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody's aware of the protesters that is currently going on in America and across over a dozen countries. So I'll leave some links in the description box and I'll probably post a couple across the screen here to let y'all know where y'all can contribute and put your money into order to help this cause that we've been fighting for decades, like way before I was even born. But yeah, so yeah. Oh, and there's also YouTube playlists as well that the ads will donate to these organizations as well. So look for that also in the description. But yeah, since I got that out of the way, let's go ahead and get to this topic. So I didn't talk about this in my Final Fantasy VII review as I felt that this needed a separate video. There was one mitigating concern that etched at the back of my head before I played the demo. That was with Barret. Back when I played 7 for the first time over 10 years ago, Barret bothered me. His dialogue was caricatured. He was the big, gruff, cussing black man. He even had a gat for an arm. I still had some attachment to him because still he was the first playable black character that I seen in the RPG. Wait, hold up. I did play 8 before I played 7, which had Kuros, but I mostly forgot about him since he wasn't in the game for like most of the time. But anyway, still, I had some attachment to Barret because he was black. Barret was also got some good character development and backstory throughout the game, so this was conflicting for me. He had that stereotypical Mr. T dialogue, but he also adopted a white child. Had layers. I mean, really in media, you don't really see black man raising a white child. You always see the reverse, and it seemed like most of the time it's more like a charity thing. But anyway, when I first played the demo, I definitely had those initial feelings, but not to the extent I had back in my first playthrough. Barret definitely has the most cartoonish sounding voice out of the main cast, which immediately made me go, ugh. And then his elevator scene, man, that made me wince.
This pump's sole purpose is to drain the planet dry. While you sleep, while you eat, while you shit, it's here sucking up Mako. It doesn't rest, and it doesn't care. You do realize what Mako is, don't you? Mako is the lifeblood of our world. The planet bleeds green like you and me bleed red. The hell you think's gonna happen when it's all gone, huh? Answer me! You gonna stand there and pretend you can't hear the planet crying out in pain? I know you can!
You really hear that?
Damn straight I do!
Get help.
Say that again!
I'd worry less about the planet and more about the next 5 seconds. Save the screaming for later.
Over time, I think I just got used to his cartoony voice.
And don't look back. That's what's always worked for me.
Well, that's all well and good. If you're only out for yourself. But the folks down there don't have the luxury of choice, you know?
Until there were some moments that made him annoying, like when you mess up on pulling the levers in the second reactor dungeon. Oh my gosh, man, I want him to shut the hell up.
Hey! I think I should lead after all. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How about a chant to help us time it right? Avalanche!
Ugh, this is exhausting.
And I had to deal with that shit several times because I was so bad at that part. Also, a lot of white people on the internet like to throw out that he was inspired by Mr. T anytime someone black says they have a problem with how he talks. When that isn't even true to begin with.
done did Cloud in. I don't know, that's more like a early 2000s Square Enix translation. Anyway, so Barret's line is, Ano yaro ga kane mo morawa ne de inaku naru wake ne daro. So note the 2 exclamation points there. This is a fantastic line that shows us a lot about Barret's character. For one thing, he's using slangy verb endings. More formally, you would say morawa nai, but he says morawa ne. Tougher and cooler. And then he refers to Cloud as Ano yaro, which means that guy or that jerk, or maybe something a little meaner than that jerk. So he's saying, like, there's no way that jerk would disappear without getting his money. And in English, this is just translated as no way. In Japanese, we get a quick glimpse into Barret's kind heart. We're going to learn later he's a kind individual. It's him having everyone worried like you don't give a darn about no one except yourself. First of all, I'm not sure what this word is supposed to be. Someone's finger must have slipped on the keyboard a lot. In Japanese, Barret's scolding goes back to the word yaro. Remember, yaro means guy or jerk or jack off or jag off. So he's employing here one of my favorite Japanese punk talk devices, which is you put a word before yaro to describe what kind of yaro a yaro is. So for example, long time ago, me and my roommate in Japan, we had a third roommate and we didn't like him, so we called him roommate yaro. This implied that he was a yaro who was also our roommate. So in his scolding of Cloud here, Barret calls Cloud a chikoku yaro. Chikoku means tardiness. So Barret is calling Cloud a tardiness yaro. And I mean, there's a million clunky ways we could probably translate that into English. You jerk who's late? And I mean, that would just sound unnatural and weird, unless, you know, you're me, and I think that sounds kind of awesome. Our group of friends here moves into another train car, where Barret tells Cloud to stop acting like a darn kid. Sit down and shut up. So in Japanese, he's a little bit more solid snake than Mr. T. He says, Kodomo janenda, jitto shitero yo. You're not a child. Be cool. So technically the word jitto means still, unmoving. Suru is the verb for to do. Shiteru is the verb for doing. So if you end a verb with a ro, it makes it very imperative. So shitero is how you order someone to be doing something. So append jitto, which is an adjective or an adverb, depending on how you look at it. Japanese is quite flexible. So you append that to shitero, and you get a terse imperative command to assume a state of being unmoving. So it's pretty much be still, except slangier, be cool. Sit down and shut up, therefore, is a little bit too harsh. I feel like the English is trying to make Barret sound like a hardcore bad butt than the Japanese does. So yeah, again, in Japanese, he's Solid Snake, and in English, he's Mr. T. So,
if they took the time to look up the original Japanese release of 7, they will see that Barret talks radically different from how he does in the localized version. It also really bothered me when Sephiroth killed him in the Shinra building. He was brought back to life immediately after, but still, it looked like they were about to do the Black Guy Dies First trope. So, yo, I was at that moment, I was definitely got to get pissed off, man. But I'm glad they didn't stick with that, because that would have been some bullshit. The thing that makes it a bit worse too is that Rude sounds a lot better. His voice actor doesn't have to do a silly cartoon voice and just sounds like a normal black person. This is how I wish Barret sounded.
Don't take it personal.
You Turks are all the same. All bark, no bite.
You're one to talk.
This is all representative of a larger issue. There's a lack of black playable characters in gaming, so I'm going to be more particular about how we represent it. Things have been slightly improving recently, but there could still be a lot more. And we also still have the issue of a lack of black hair options in games with customizable characters. Oh, and that reminds me, but Barret's hair in here looks weird. The texture of it is off, and that's probably because this is coming from a Japanese studio. A country, from what I heard from a bunch of black people that went to visit, where they think your hair is so mysterious and they touch without your permission. So Barret's hair just, it's a small thing, but it doesn't look right. Well, all these issues still persist. These issues will persist as long as the gaming industry lacks black employees. As it stands, the video game industry is only 1% black. There should definitely be more publishers and development studios owned by black people. As I said in my "What Would a Black AAA Studio Look Like" video, video games are the only major form of entertainment without known black creators and products. Don't worry, y'all. I'm still working on being the first black person to own a AAA studio. I'm just really trying to figure out how all this shit out. Like, programming bores the life out of me. People keep dipping on me and in production when I was going around trying to find people to help me make my game. And then when Dreams came out, I thought this would be a good opportunity just to make shit on my own, where I can and it'll be actually fun to try to create stuff for me. But it still feels more like work for me, unlike Little Big Planet, where I could just play that shit all day, creating content from the time I wake up to like 4 o'clock in the morning, making sure my level is good, there's no bugs or anything in it. But Dreams, it's not happening for me like that with Dreams. Still find a lot of issues and frustrations I had. Just working around with it, just like I have with like regular game engines. But back to Barret. So, in conclusion, I'm still unsure what to think about Barret. There are things about him that I like, but there are things I really don't like about him. For what y'all know, if you have played the original Final Fantasy VII, Barret is raising Marlene. He's not his biological child, but he was a child of his friend who was growing up. Yeah, so excuse me. So if y'all didn't play the original Final Fantasy VII, Barret is basically raising Marlene. She's a daughter of his friend. He raised her after his friend went off and presumably had died. So he did the good thing and took care of his daughter for him. And as you see in both in the remake and original, he's very protective of her. Yeah, so it's really conflicting. I really like that side of Barret, but it's just the way he talks really bothers the hell out of me. But yeah, so if y'all played the 7 remake or the original, let me know your thoughts about Barret in the comments below. And I'll see y'all guys next time. Make sure to share this video with other people and all that jazz. I'll catch y'all later. Bye.
No need to grip it so hard. Got an idea. 7, happen, hoo-ah! 7, happen, hoo-ah!
Hell no.
How about this then? 7, heaven.
Ugh. We're doing it my way.